All right, guys. So today, I believe this is the first session for the day. I hope that your yesterday went very well. Now, let's get back to learning mode. So today, we're learning about the Forex market. Now, along with just telling you what Forex is and how it works and all, I'll also share a few links. I'll show you what Forex charts and all look like, because I believe at this stage, many of us are familiar with how technicals work, right? So we'll do that much. But before I jump into the charts and all, I will first give you information about the market. I'll tell you how it works and what all it entails. All right. So the first thing we need to know is that it's the largest market, which has a daily turnover of $5 trillion. That's trillion with a T. So if you recall some time back, India's goal of the GDP was $5 trillion, right? India was supposed to be a $5 trillion economy. So imagine the ideal size of India, but the same transaction volume happens every single day. Can you imagine? That is more than the turnover of all the stock exchanges combined. So you take NYSE, you take BSE, NSE, you take all of the indices, everything, and it's still going to be less than $5 trillion, which is honestly pretty crazy. So when I was first learning about the Forex market, this statistic alone was like, wow, kya cheez hai ye? Right? Now, the way this differs from our regular markets, whether you talk about, Indian stock market, whether you talk about US markets, it's that this is not a centralized exchange. Now, what do I mean by that? I think most of us at this stage know what BSE and NSE is, right? We all know what BSE and NSE is. Now, in the Forex market, there is no BSE or NSE. There is no Forex exchange. It is an OTC market. What do I mean by OTC? It is over the counter, meaning there are participants, there are dealers, and they do the deals over the counter. I'll show you what exactly I mean by that as well. But what we need to know is that it's an OTC market. It's used by individuals, banks, businesses, governments, and everyone. So when I tell you individuals, right? You and me, even if we don't want to trade Forex, we will be in the Forex market. How, let's say we want to go to London, like for sightseeing. Let's say we're all going to London. We'll need British pounds, right? We're not going to give a shopkeeper 100 rupees being like, Acha, haan, this is £1 worth. Please give me this thing. No, we'll have to give them pounds. So in order to do that, as individuals, we will obviously have to convert money. So that's how we are a part of Forex market, even if we haven't started trading yet. Obviously, individual traders are also a part of it. Then we've got banks. Banks, why? Because banks are obviously going to transact in Forex, right? So let's say you're going to get $1,000. $1,000 you get, the bank is going to give it to you in rupees, right? In your account. Banks are also there. Businesses. So earlier, back when Jet Airways was still alive, I used to work there in Treasury department. Okay, I was an intern in Treasury. So there were several transactions worth millions and millions of dollars that we received and had to pay. All of that was done through the Forex market. Obviously, if you're paying $10 million to someone, right, you have to convert it and you have to do all of that. So that is how corporates and businesses are part. And of course, government is there, central bank is there. So in the stock market, generally, it's just institutions and retailers, right? Generally, it's just institutions and retailers. This is why the Forex market is so different, because there are much more participants, a lot more participants, and the participants are also bigger ones. Like imagine corporates are participating in the Forex market, governments are participating. So that is why it's a much bigger market. And that's why the transactions can be of various types. So it can be speculation, tourism, cross-border trade, more. So if we talk about the equity markets, generally it'll either be for speculation, which is your trading, or it'll be for investing, buy and hold. Generally, there's not much more that the stock exchange is used for, right? But in Forex, it's different. Forex is tourism, cross-border trade, and so on. So in India, we can trade Forex in two ways. The first way is using Indian Forex derivatives. These are listed on NSE. Okay, so when we talk about this, the first part is through a centralized exchange because these are listed on NSE. So if you have Zerodha, if you've got Angel Broking and all, you will see JPY INR JPY, you'll see USD INR, you'll see GBP INR, because these are Forex derivatives that are listed on NSE. This is not the actual Forex market. So if you've traded Forex on Zerodha, that is not the actual Forex market. The actual Forex market or the global market is offered by various brokers. Okay, it's offered by various brokers, but it is not offered by Zerodha. Okay, there are several brokers like XM, and you might have seen a lot of ads also. But all of these brokers are not like Zerodha and all. They are not listed on NSE. So how do the brokers work? This is how they'll work. So first, there's an interbank market. Interbank market meaning, let's say there are 5 banks in the world, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, A, B, C, D, E banks are the largest banks in the world. Okay, so all of these 5 banks, and they've got obviously global presence. So all of these 5 banks, okay, they've got a lot of Forex transactions. They've got a lot of buying and selling within them. Because imagine your bank, in your case, if you want to pay someone dollars, you'll have to convert your rupees to dollars. If someone wants to receive dollars, they'll have to convert dollars to rupees, right? So there's going to be a lot of transaction that will happen. So that's why the first level is always the interbank market. Now, connected to the interbank market are brokers. Okay, are brokers. So if I give you an example, in our regular stock exchange, okay, we've got NSE. NSE is the exchange. Buyers are here, sellers are here, right? And NSE is acting as the central medium of transactions. Why? Because NSE ke through ही सब trade कर रहे हैं, NSE and BSE. If you want to buy on Zerodha, you'll either do it on NSE or BSE. No other way, right? But in terms of the Forex market, it's different because first we've got the interbank market. Okay, interbank market may there are no retailers. So it's not that I go to a bank and I tell them that bhai mujhe $1,000 chahiye. They'll be like, no, we can't give it to you. Instead, the interbank market, I don't know why I say Indian, but the God, I don't know what's happening. But the interbank market, sorry for that, finally, the interbank market has brokers. So, for example, one broker, and full disclosure, I am associated with these guys because I am a trainer for them, which is why I'm taking their example. Full disclosure, I'm not telling you that you make an account with them or anything, but I'm just telling you full disclosure, I'm associated with them. So, one of the brokers that is there is XM. Now, in XM, what they do is they are partnered up with some banks. Okay, and this holds true for all other brokers. Okay, XYZ and ABC and all of the other brokers. Okay, they are partnered with banks. Okay, because they are partnered with banks, we as retailers, we as retail traders can connect with these brokers, and then we can trade in the larger interbank market. Okay, so imagine it's like this super exclusive football game. Okay, like super exclusive football game. Even if we can't go and play football like what FIFA and all that happens, even if we can't do that, FIFA many times has smaller games. Okay, for example, there was one here in Andheri Sports Club in Mumbai. That's a smaller game compared to like the big FIFA. And even though we as India can't play in the big FIFA, we could play as qualifying in the smaller game. So it's kind of like that, right? This is the big platform. This is where most of the transactions happen. And then we've got smaller brokers. And these brokers will give us the opportunity to trade. So everyone understood how the Forex market is structured. Good.
Do tell in the chat if you have understood. Please type a yes, no. You can type a no as well. Krunal sir will explain it again as well. But please give a signal कि समझ आया या नहीं आया, because then only we'll be proceeding ahead in that manner. Yeah. So सबको समझ आ रहा है? Amazing that you are
Great.
teaching in such a wonderful manner. Yeah, over to you.
Great. Okay, so this is how it's structured. Now, in terms, okay, this we already spoke about, right? There are banks, corporates, governments, institutions. Okay, this is for your understanding, right? Banks, corporates, governments, and institutions. So all of these, okay, all of these people will participate. Oh God, what's happening? All of these people will participate in this. So when I talk about banks, corporates, governments, and institutions, generally these guys, okay, these people will directly be a part of interbank market. So when I was interning in treasury, we were directly dealing with banks. Okay, we were directly dealing with the banks. Okay, we were not dealing with some random broker. We were not going on our terminal and typing, okay, I want $1 million. No, we are directly dealing with the banks. All of these, anyone who's got big money will be dealing directly with the banks. It's just our individuals like you and me who will have to trade using these brokers. Okay, so we as individuals will be trading through these brokers. Okay, now obviously we know Forex or FX refers to trading of foreign currencies. So we are basically speculating on the appreciation or depreciation of a certain currency. Okay, but the thing is, and this is completely unlike equities. Okay, now this is the part where we really start going away from our stock market and all. So the way currencies are different is that we are buying and selling currency pairs. We are not buying and selling individual currencies. We are buying and selling currency pairs. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say I am bullish on the dollar. Okay, hypothetical example. Let's say I'm bullish on the dollar. I am not buying dollar. I can't buy dollar. I can't be like, oh, I want dollars. I'll have to buy a currency pair. So what can a currency pair be? It can be USD INR, it can be Euro USD, and so on. Okay, and so on. So it is always in currency pairs. Okay. So how do these currency pairs work? How do these currency pairs work? When I say USD INR, I'm sure we are all familiar. USD INR is what, around 75, right? Which means for every dollar, if I want to buy a dollar, I will have to pay 75 rupees. Okay, I'll have to buy 75. I'll have to pay 75 rupees and I will get $1. Now, the same thing if we talk about Euro USD. So if Euro USD is, let's say, 1.13, what does that mean? Per euro, I will have to pay $1.13. Okay, per euro. Now, this is what you are trading. You are not trading just USD. You are not just trading euro. You're trading USD INR or Euro USD. Okay, it's always going to be both. Now, I know that some of us have questions. I did see a couple of them, but I'll come to those at the end because trust me, most of the questions will be answered. हिंदी में बताए. I think ज़्यादातर लोग जनरली इंग्लिश प्रेफर करते हैं, लाइक मिक्स प्रेफर करते हैं, इसलिए मैं जनरली इंग्लिश में ज़्यादा बोलता हूँ. बट ठीक है, कॉन्सेप्ट जो है ओवरऑल मैं थोड़ा समझा सकता हूँ. तो अब तक हम लोग ने क्या बात की कि इंटर बैंक मार्केट होता है, मतलब जो बैंक्स होते हैं एक साथ जुड़े रहते हैं और वो बैंक्स के साथ ब्रोकर्स होते हैं. हम लोग वो ब्रोकर्स से करते हैं, तो हम लोग इन ब्रोकर्स के साथ ट्रेड करेंगे और ये ब्रोकर्स बैंक के साथ ट्रेड करेंगे. ठीक है, सो दैट इज हाउ इट गोज. ओके, और हम लोग ने जैसे बात की कि फॉरेक्स मार्केट में बैंक्स होते हैं, कॉर्पोरेट्स होते हैं, इंस्टीट्यूशंस होते हैं. Right? Great. Looks like it's a good unanimous decision almost of talking in both languages. Great. तो ये स्लाइड पे हम लोग ने क्या बात की है, that we are speculating, मतलब हम लोग अनुमान लगा रहे हैं on the appreciation or depreciation of a certain currency, और हम लोग खरीदेंगे करेंसी पेयर में, हम लोग एक नहीं खरीदेंगे, जोड़ी में खरीदेंगे. कैसे? We are not buying just dollars, we're buying USD INR. We're not buying just euro, we're buying euro USD. और ये चीज आप अगर इंडियन डेरिवेटिव मार्केट में देखो, इंडियन एफएक्स डेरिवेटिव मार्केट में, तो सेम चीज है. अगर मैं इंडियन एफएक्स डेरिवेटिव्स देखूं तो आपको यूएसडी आईएनआर मिलेगा, आपको जीबीपी आईएनआर मिलेगा. ठीक है, यू विल गेट दिस, यू वोंट गेट जस्ट यूएसडी, यू वोंट जस्ट गेट आईएनआर, you will get a mix. Remember, this is very different, and I'll tell you why that makes sense. When we buy, let's say, one share of Reliance, what are we paying with? We are paying with rupees, right? So in effect, अगर मैं आपको ऐसा बोलूं कि मैं रिलायंस खरीद रहा हूं, because the currency is the same, I'm just saying Reliance, but actually I'm buying Reliance in rupees, right? Same thing. When I do USD INR, what am I doing? I'm buying USD in INR. Reliance क्या कर रहा हूं? I'm buying Reliance in INR. TCS. If I'm buying TCS, I'm buying TCS in INR. Okay. Now this holds true for everything. Let's say I want to buy a car. So if I buy a car, let's say I'm paying 10 lakh rupees for it. 10 lakh rupees. So I'm getting a car and I'm paying what rupees? So the transaction is actually car and rupees. Right? So it is always like this. हमेशा ऐसे होता है, pairs में होता है, जोड़ियों में होता है. And so that's why we have to understand how both the sides are moving. Okay, how both the sides are moving. So this is what it'll look like. ये slide में थोड़ा words ज़्यादा है, but trust me, I'll condense it down for you. So when I say USD INR, the first part is called the base currency. Second is the quote currency. So if I talk about a building, अगर आप बिल्डिंग में हो, एक मॉल में हो, मॉल में पहले क्या आएगा? बेसमेंट आएगा, राइट? इन द लिफ्ट, इन द एलिवेटर, पहला बेसमेंट का बटन होगा. सो ऑलवेज फर्स्ट इज द बेसमेंट, उसके बाद दूसरा आता है. सो इन द सेम वे, इन करेंसी कोट्स, द फर्स्ट पार्ट इज द बेस करेंसी एंड द सेकेंड पार्ट इज द क्वोट करेंसी. व्हाई? आप किस चीज को क्वोट कर रहे हो, किस चीज की बोली लगा रहे हो? यूएसडी की. किस चीज से खरीदने वाले हो? व्हाट आर यू गोइंग टू यूज टू बाय? व्हाट आर यू quoting in rupees, which is why it's the quote currency. So when, again, let's say we want to buy a car, or let's say we want to buy Reliance shares, दोनों चीज किस चीज में quote होने वाली है? रुपीज में, right? Which is why rupees is the quote currency. And what is the base? Like, what are we buying? We are buying Reliance or a car, which is why it's the base. So always remember, जिस चीज की बोली लगा रहे हो, जिस चीज को खरीदना है आपको, that is the base. And what you are using to buy is the quote. Okay. So if you are buying USD INR, you are buying USD and selling INR. Now this is the part that people get confused with, but trust me, ऐसा नहीं है. Let's say, I'll go back to this slide. Okay, let's say you are buying a car. कार आप खरीद रहे हो. What are you intrinsically selling? Meaning, you are buying a car, but in return, technically speaking, आप पैसे बेच रहे हो ना. You are giving money, you are selling money, and you are buying that car. So the same way, when I talk about USD INR, I am buying the USD and I'm intrinsically selling rupee, car INR, right? So this is how the transactions are actually working. और इसी चक्कर में से, if you understand this much, remember, आपको समझना है कि एग्जैक्टली क्या हो रहा है. इम्प्लिसिटली क्या चीज इंप्लाई हो रही है. ओके, क्या चीज इंप्लाई हो रही है? बाइंग यूएसडी, सेलिंग आईएनआर. इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, देन ये वाला जो पॉइंट है, दैट बिकम्स वेरी क्लियर. Okay, so that's why I won't talk about it now. I'll show you the example first. Okay, so let's say that I have bought a car. We are not talking about currency pairs now. ऐसा मान लो कि currency pairs हम लोग भूल गए सब. Just remember, we are talking about regular stuff. You talk about potatoes, cars, cycles, anything you want. Okay, let's say I bought a car. I bought a car for 10 lakh rupees. I'm happy. Car is good, all of that, whatever. Kal jaake, and there are two scenarios. Okay, the first scenario is that the value of the car goes up. If the value of the car is going up, मेरा benefit है कि नुकसान है? Am I happy or am I sad? If I bought the car for 10 lakh rupees, now the same car is worth 12 lakh rupees. I'm happy, right? I'll be like, wow, maza aa gaya yaar. This is a good sign, right? I'm happy. So in this case, I'm happy. Obviously, if the value of the car is going down, okay, if the value of the car is going down, I am not happy. Okay, I'm not happy. Because I'll be like, यार 10 लाख की गाड़ी खरीदी थी, शोरूम से बाहर निकला, it's now worth 8 lakhs. Right? We'll obviously think like that. So this is the first scenario. Second scenario is, what if our rupee becomes stronger? Okay, what if our rupee becomes stronger? Which means 10 लाख में जो गाड़ी आती थी, 10 लाख में उससे एक हायर एंड वाली आ जाती है, because our rupee gets stronger. Right? Our rupee gets stronger. So if the value of my, if the worth जो मूल्य होता है, worth होता है, if that is going up of our rupee, then will I be happy or not? मैंने 10 लाख रुपए दिए उसे. अब 10 लाख रुपए की जो वैल्यू है, that is going up. Will I be happy or not? I won't be happy. Why? Because I gave away 10 lakhs, but 10 lakhs की वैल्यू बढ़ रही है, 10 lakhs का वर्थ बढ़ रहा है. Okay, for example, see 10 lakh rupees in 1980s and 10 lakh rupees now, there is a world of difference, right? So let's say फिर से 1980s के जो 10 lakh rupees की worth आ जाती है, वो होती है. Naturally, I'll be like, man, I just wasted so much money. So if the value of rupee is going up and I have bought something, I'll obviously be kind of sad, right? But if the value of rupee is going down, then what will I think? Wow, chalo, 10 lakh रुपए मैंने से खरीद लिया. Now the value of rupee is falling, right? The rupee is not as valuable, which is why I'll think that, wow, chalo, time may I have bought. So someone said Innova. Someone here said the cost of Innova has actually increased. So that's a good example, because Innova, when it first came out, I believe my neighbor had bought one for like 6 lakh, 7 lakh rupees. Base model. 6-7 लाख में खरीदा था उन्होंने. अभी इनोवा खरीदो आप, it's like what, 25 lakh rupees or something. Okay. So that perfectly explains things. Why? Because the value of the car has also gone up after buying. So you're happy. Value of rupee has gone down. Why? Because rupiah is not that strong anymore, which is why you're happy that chalo मैंने वो time पे खरीद लिया. Okay. So now coming back to currency pairs, let's say USD INR. USD INR में मैंने क्या खरीदा है? What have I bought in USD INR? Can you tell me? What is the thing that I have bought in USD INR? I've bought USD. Good. I've bought USD. Now, if USD becomes stronger, will I be happy or not? Let's say dollar will become stronger. I'll be happy, right? And if USD becomes weaker, I'll be sad. But what happens if rupee becomes stronger? What happens if the rupee becomes stronger? I'll be sad. Okay, I'll be sad. Now, what you have just explained to me and what you have just answered is exactly this. So अगर आप ये समझ गए, आपको ये पढ़ने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, because you have understood how forex trading works. Okay, you have understood how it works. पढ़ना है तो पढ़ सकते हो. So if we are buying USD INR, okay, if we are buying USD INR, you stand, जो slash है ना, the slash that is there, look at the first part, because the first part corresponds to this. Second part corresponds to this. So पहले हम लोग पढ़ेंगे if the value of USD appreciates, मतलब ऊपर जा रहा है, we are standing to make money because the value of USD INR goes up. ये तो सभी को पता है. अगर डॉलर स्ट्रांग होता है, अगर डॉलर ताकतवर होता है, then USD INR from 75 it can go to 80. If the value of dollar goes down, depreciate होता है, then we stand to lose money because the value of USD INR would decrease. Okay. Same way, if the value of rupee appreciates, अगर रुपया ताकतवर होता है, we stand to lose money because the value of INR goes down. Okay, goes down. If the value of rupee depreciates, meaning अगर रुपया कमजोर हो जाता है, we would make money as USD INR increases. Now, tell me one thing. I can see a few questions flooding in. The reason why I've taken USD INR here is because very simply put, USD INR के बारे में सबको पता है. We know that if the rupee becomes stronger, okay, USD INR can go from 75 to 65, right? 75 to 65. If rupee becomes weaker, USD INR can go from 75 to 85. Everyone knows this, right? ये सभी को पता है. Okay, that's why remember, this is how all the currency pairs will work. Now when you trade them, जब आप trade करोगे ना, तब broker either commission charge करेगा या spread से पैसा कमाएगा. What does spread mean? Are we all familiar with bid and ask prices? Bid and ask, right? Bid और ask के बीच का जो अंतर होता है, bid and ask difference is the bid ask spread. The forex broker will earn money through that spread. In India, our Zerodha and all charge flat brokerage. Okay, they charge flat brokerage, meaning if you buy intraday, you pay 20 rupees plus meaning tax and STT. Okay, tax and STT. Now, if I want to buy Reliance, I buy at 2100. If I want to sell Reliance, I sell at 2099. You see, there's a 1 rupee difference. So when I buy, I will always buy expensive. When I sell, I will always sell cheap. This is how the market is structured everywhere. Now, in the Forex in India, Zerodha does not get a piece of this money. Zerodha does not get this 1 rupee ka difference. Okay, because this 1 rupee is decided by the central exchange. It is not decided by Zerodha. However, in a Forex market, this 1 rupee is pocketed mean. Are we all familiar with bid and ask prices? Bid and ask, right? Bid और ask के बीच का जो अंतर होता है, bid and ask difference is the bid ask spread. The forex broker will earn money through that spread. In India, our Zerodha and all charge flat brokerage. Okay, They charge flat brokerage, meaning if you buy intraday, you pay 20 rupees plus meaning tax and STT. Okay, tax and STT. Now, if I want to buy Reliance, I buy at 2100. If I want to sell Reliance, I sell at 2099. You see, there's a 1 rupee difference. So when I buy, I will always buy expensive. When I sell, I will always sell cheap. This is how the market is structured everywhere. Now, in the Forex in India, Zerodha does not get a piece of this money. Zerodha does not get this 1 rupee ka difference. Okay, because this 1 rupee is decided by the central exchange. It is not decided by Zerodha. However, in a Forex market, okay, in a Forex market, this 1 rupee is pocketed mainly by the broker. Okay, it's pocketed mainly by the broker, which is how they earn money. So Forex में you don't have to pay brokerage because brokerage वो लोग कुछ इस तरह से कमा लेते हैं. They earn brokerage like this. Some charge a commission. Generally, commissions are not good because they end up being pricey. Okay. I explained bid and ask. Okay, bid meaning how much you are buying for, sell meaning how much, ask meaning how much you are selling for. Okay. So this is how the brokers will earn money. Now, in terms of what actually affects the prices of Forex, it's the same stuff: fundamental, technical, news event, and psychology. It's just that the specifics are very different. Meaning, अभी हम लोग जब RBI मीटिंग होती है, right? When the MPC meets, when they talk about India's interest rates, repo rate or some, Bank Nifty will go up down a little, right? You'll see choppy movements on Bank Nifty. But will you see a significant fundamental change? Most likely not, because the stock markets are not a very, very good indicator of our repo and reverse repo rates. Forex markets are, because currency prices, currency valuation fundamentally uses interest rates and growth as one of its criteria. तो हमारी शेयर बाजार में, कंपनीज में, जैसे प्रॉफिट्स होते हैं, लॉसेस होते हैं, कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट्स होता है, मल्टीपल्स आर देयर, राइट? ईवी मल्टीपल, पीज, right? All of those things are there in fundamentals, right? For our stock markets. The same thing for the Forex market is interest rate, macroeconomic data, and policies. Okay. So because this is why you'll see a lot of Forex traders are tracking events. Now, which events are there? There are several. For example, the most recent one was NFP. NFP. I'll show it to you. It was NFP. Can someone tell me which currency pair this is for? Like which currency this is for? Great. USD. Correct. NFP is non-farm payrolls. Non-farm payrolls meaning US में non-farm related, मतलब farming से अलावा, the payrolls that are there, it shows that. I'll show you the data as well, don't worry. But such fundamentals will have a significant impact on the currency prices. Now you tell me, if USD becomes stronger because of NFP, okay, best example, FOMC meet last to last week. स्टॉक मार्केट में भी बहुत चर्चा हुई थी FOMC मीट की, बिकॉज एवरीवन वाज लाइक FOMC मीट में ये हुआ, दैट इज व्हाई द मार्केट्स क्रैक्ड, राइट? आई एम श्योर यू ऑल रिमेंबर दैट. FOMC meet में the committee said that there is scope for a rate hike up to 0.7%, I feel. What does that mean? They are saying that maybe we will increase interest rates. When that happened, the sentiments on USD became bullish. Now you tell me, अगर USD strong होता है, then will it impact all the USD currency pairs? Because USD में कितना है? USD INR है, Euro USD है, GBP USD है, USD CAD है, USD JPY, so many, right? It will impact all of them. So one thing happens, and suddenly you've got 10 currency pairs that change because of that. This is the scope, this is the scale of the market. In terms of technicals, it is the same. Whatever, I know that many of us are not we're not in my we're not in my boot camp, but I'm sure that what you've learned in the other boot camps also for technicals will be applicable for Forex as well. So technicals mein there's not much of a difference, to be very honest. The difference comes in understanding the signals, because Forex market can be very, very wild. Okay. So in terms of technicals, you're sorted. Don't worry. Whatever you've learned is probably going to be good enough. Price action indicators, जो भी हम लोग ने सीखा है. Now, news events are the same as fundamentals, to be very frank. Psychology also, I hope most of us have learned. Again, I had done it, but I'm not sure if you have. If you haven't, then you can check it out. But psychology भी थोड़ा बहुत affect करता है. Plus, obviously, your trades are impacted by your own psychology. So, apart from fundamentals and apart from news events, how to trade the market is very similar. You use technicals, whether you use moving averages, RSI, Bollinger, जो भी use करना है, it works for the most part. Okay. Now, some other points that are different. Forex market is a 24-hour market. 24 घंटे खुला रहता है, except on Saturdays and Sundays. Apart from that, it's open 24 hours a day. Okay. So अगर मैं कल जाता हूँ, कल रात को भी try करता हूँ, you will see currency prices are going up and down. Okay, currency prices are going up and down because 24-hour market, right? It's a global market. यहाँ पे इंडिया में अगर रात के 12 बजे है, that means US में it's daytime, meaning what? US market is open for Forex. US में अगर 12 बजे है, that means here in Asia some market will be open. That is why it's a 24-hour market, and that is why there's a lot of liquidity. Okay, there's a lot of liquidity. So अगर इंडियन मार्केट्स में अगर आप सोचते हो कि स्मॉल कैप्स और मिड कैप्स के इंट्राडे चार्ट में द काइंड ऑफ लिक्विडिटी और illiquidity that we see कि prices are just like this. If you compare the same to Forex market, then our stock market is like that illiquid stock, and the Forex market is like a Reliance or TCS, where there's massive liquidity. Imagine $5 trillion a day. Okay. So there's a lot of liquidity. And as a result, आपको $1 लाख का ट्रेड लेना है, executed like that. $10 million का ट्रेड लेना है, ऐसे हो जाएगा execute, because there are a lot of participants, and that is why liquidity is very high, and that's why it's a very favorable market for those that want to scale up their trading. Okay, for those that want to scale up their trading, isliye there's like a good scope for that. Okay, attractive leverage. Intraday in India, you get what? 5 times leverage, I feel. I think 5 times से ज्यादा equity पे नहीं मिलता अभी. In Forex market, it goes up to 888. 888. You can imagine how much leverage that is. Okay, that's a lot. And see, leverage is different, right? It's a differentiating factor. It is exactly, Mohit. It's not a favorable thing always. अगर आप बोलते हो that अरे मैं ₹1 से अगर ₹500 का ट्रेड ले सकता हूँ, you still have ₹1. You can't risk based on 500 rupees. So it's a good thing to have it. But at the same time, understand that it comes with a very, very high risk. when we look at some forex charts, you'll understand कि ऐसे 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 जाता है. Okay, it's very risky. Now, most currency pairs are freely floating, माने डिमांड और सप्लाई से ऊपर नीचे जाते हैं. But in some countries, the central bank has a varying level of control. So, for example, in India, we've got a price band. USD INR का एक price band होता है. So, let's say the dollar becomes absolutely weak, super weak. USD INR will fall, but there's a price band. So RBI will step in and they'll be like, okay, this is where we want to regulate it at. You can do FNO in Forex, but it depends on your broker. All brokers don't offer that. Forex FNO is offered by Zerodha also. Yeah. Okay. Types of currency pairs. Majors, minors are also called cross currency pairs and exotics. So majors ये है. Major में क्या होता है? Major में this is basically the most important currency pairs. Generally they've got USD on one side or the other. Okay, generally. कभी कभी नहीं होता because strictly speaking होता है, but कभी कभी नहीं होता because pairs like GBP Swiss franc, this is also a very important very important currency pair, but it doesn't have USD on one side. Generally speaking though, अगर USD one side पे है, then it's a proper major pair. So for example, USD Swiss franc, USD CAD, Euro USD, and this is the lingo, this is the jargon. So जब मैं cable बोलता हूँ, cable means GBP USD. Okay, जब मैं euro बोलता हूँ, it means euro USD. जब मैं Swissy बोलता हूँ, it means USD CHF. CHF is Swiss franc. CHF is not Chinese. CHF Chinese नहीं होता. CHF is Swiss franc. I don't know why it's CHF. There's like a good reason for it, but it's Swiss franc. Okay. So this is the lingo. This is the trading term. You can understand this, right? Pretty similar. Yeah. CNY is Chinese, correct? Right. So this is what it looks like. Now, minor or cross currency pairs. Cross currency pairs or minors are basically those currency pairs जिनमें USD एक भी साइड पर होता नहीं है. So Euro New Zealand dollar, Euro JPY, right? यहाँ पे USD is not there on any side. Okay, not there on any side. So Kailasa, wait for a bit. I've got I know that those questions are going to be there for everyone, right? Everyone's going to have those questions. So bear with me for a bit and I'll explain everything. Okay, so this is cross currency pairs or minors. Okay, कुछ ऐसे. यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हो, there is no USD on either side. Yes, thanks for that, Kunal. Right? So यहाँ पे कुछ ऐसा दिखता है. And this is exotic. Exotic मतलब exotic currency pair मतलब emerging economies. Emerging economies with a developed economy, either USD, Euro or GBP. So you see here, all of these are emerging economies. Singapore है. Now Singapore में कैसा है कि it's a small country, like it's a small area, but it's got good development. So such countries are also considered. Hong Kong, Singapore and all. Okay, Hong Kong, Singapore and all. So it's like that. Okay, it's like that. Again, you can see the list. See, this list you can get anywhere. Trust me, it's not very important. बस समझ लो कि concept क्या है. Now, some currency pairs that people actually trade: Euro USD, USD JPY, GBP USD, USD CAD, XAU USD. XAUSD is gold. So if someone is trading gold, it's generally called XAUUSD in the Forex market. Okay. Other pairs are also traded. So all of these pairs are also traded, but liquidity is not much, which is why generally if you are trading, then ideally stick to these. I'll talk about it more, don't worry. But if you are trading, generally stick to these. Now, some more points, and this is where I believe most of your questions will be answered. Okay. Forex trading is a gray area. So many of us have asked that is it legal? Is it not legal? Many of us have asked that, right? Many of us have asked that. Now, because RBI has something called FEMA regulation, right? FEMA नाम की एक चीज है. In fact, in the most recent circular by RBI, you'll see that there's something called FEMA regulation. So owing to FEMA regulation, you cannot send INR abroad to trade. But most of these brokers, what they do is that they have local partners that take local deposits and then enable you to trade in the global forex market. So that is why it's a gray area. Technically speaking, it's not illegal because you are transferring money in India, but also it depends on your CA. So that is why I always say that consult your CA before considering forex trading. Risk to hai, right? Risk is there, everyone knows that. But apart from that, make sure your CA is able to actually justify what you are doing, because that's the most important thing. Okay, so you understand the risks and rewards, understand that it's a gray area. It is not illegal, it is not legal. Okay, it is neither legal nor is it illegal. It's a gray area. Kind of similar to how crypto is, except crypto pe abhi hard tax aa gaya hai, but it's like a gray area. Now, why do people enjoy forex? It's because of higher leverage and more volatile movements, so you get more chance to make money. But that also means that it can be very different experience to trade, especially for beginners, and that can be challenging. So if you're a beginner and if you're not familiar with very choppy and very volatile price action, then it might be then it might be then it might be a bit of a challenge. Okay, then it might be a bit of a challenge. It is important, ये तो बात कर लिया हम लोग ने. Now fundamental factors play a big role. So हम लोग ने जैसे बात किया, fundamentals are going to be very important. Okay, there it's going to be very important. Apart from differences in volumes, market participants, fundamentals, technical, it works in the same way as equities. So if we talk about sentiments kaise hota hai and all, then it works very similarly. But in terms of fundamentals and in terms of what exactly impacts it, that's different. Okay. There are several regulators. So if you go on any forex broker, like a global forex broker, niche you will be able to see a list of people that regulate it. See, in India, it's not there's no forex regulator, forex exchange regulator. But in other countries like UK and all, there are people, there are organizations, and there are institutes that actually regulate it and that certify that okay, these guys are legit. It's like that. Yeah, so if you trade in Zerodha or ICICI Direct, then you are trading Indian forex derivatives. Then you are not trading the global forex market. So Indian forex market, I believe, is open till around 5 o'clock. I think it starts from 9 and ends at 5. But the global is 24 and all. OctaFX is not Indian derivatives. OctaFX is like full global one. Okay. So first, bear with me for a minute. I know there are a few questions, but first let me talk to you about some fundamentals. Okay, about some fundamentals. Now, this is a website I'll share with you later on. Okay, I'll share with you later on. But in this, what we see here is a list of all the fundamental factors that will affect, and this is like a calendar. So if I talk about last to last week, which is when the FOMC meet happened, You see this FOMC statement and all. यहाँ पे we are able to understand that what exactly was the outcome, what did they discuss. So here, if I click on this, we can see what it is, we can see what the impact is, we can see when it is scheduled, okay, and it will show us news related to it. Okay, now if I talk about last week NFP happened, right? We can see, yeah, Thursday, right? So यहाँ पे for USD we'll be able to understand. Okay, we'll be able to understand for USD. Around 7 o'clock is when it happened. So we'll be able to understand what's happening for USD, GBP, right? All of these things. So if I want to see unemployment claims, we can see it's a positive surprise. Unemployment has reduced. You can see here, if I talk about this productivity, we can see it looks like this, right? So this, the link to this will be shared by Arvind and he'll send it over to you. Okay. Okay. So all of that is how fundamentals are looked at. ये link भी आपको मिल जाएगी. It's forexfactory.com. It's a free website. So you don't have to worry about अरे क्या ये paid है? Is this like some premium thing? This is not useful for beginners. See, everyone is a beginner when they start. Okay, everyone is a beginner when they start. Okay, if if you feel that this is not useful as a beginner, then you won't be able to advance from from a beginner to someone who knows about it. So if you look at this, let's say you want to understand, what unemployment claims is. You click on it and you read all of this. You read what this means. See, Forex Factory is giving us everything. Okay, number of individuals who filed for unemployment, what is better, all of that. Okay, when we look at all of this, then we'll actually understand ki kya dekhna hai. Until that, everyone will be a beginner. So remember, it's very useful to learn, and then once you learn, you can understand. So I'll show you what the Forex charts and all look like as well. Okay, you see here, this is Euro USD. Okay, this is Euro USD. Euro USD का 5 मिनट का चार्ट है. Okay, this is 5-minute chart of Euro USD. Look at how choppy. Screen is not visible, my bad. Just a minute, I'll just change it. Okay, I'll just change it. Yeah, I hope screen is visible now. Great. So this is Euro USD. Now Euro USD में आप देख सकते हो 5-minute chart पे it's pretty choppy, right? It's pretty volatile. It's very volatile. तो यही volatility के कारण लोग generally higher time frames रखते हैं, so 15-minute and such, because that's more
Yeah. So there are a couple of doubts, Kunal. I'll just answer them. One is a lot of students are asking, is there a boot camp running upcoming for forex trading for by Kunal sir? No, it's not currently in February because obviously he has his exam. Whenever in future it is planned, we'll let you know. Next is, will the recordings be provided and shared? Yeah, they'll be shared in the upcoming week, and the website link will also be shared by me. No worries on that. And also,
Yeah.
Kunal, there's an interesting doubt which some students have. They're asking repeatedly about CDS.
Yeah.
CDS
So
क्या है? CDS.
CDS is credit default swap. It's not necessarily related to Forex, which is why I did not really talk about it. I mean, see, swaps in general can be related to Forex. It's just that if I talk about CDS and all, then मेरे को मस्त 2-3 घंटा theory और सब पढ़ाना पड़ेगा, which is why I don't really talk
No
about this.
worries. No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
So maybe we can discuss it at some other time. And also, is there a suggestion by you of a best broker or some platform which you particularly use or recommend? Ki ye acha hai?
So see, given that I am, affiliated or associated in a way with XM, I feel I can't give you an unbiased recommendation, which is why, if you ask me, technically, I'm going to say that only, like them only.
Okay, no
But
worries.
you're free to do your own research. And remember, it's a gray area. I don't want you to take unnecessary risks. Okay, that's why understand if this is right for you, understand if you think you can take this risk, then figure out if you can, you know, do Forex. If you want to do it, then with which broker and all of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So Forex, as mentioned, I'll repeat it again, is a gray area. So it's always recommended to better have your inclinement pretty much in it. And Shruti ma'am is asking, can you please show how to trade in this chart? More or less, does technical work the same in
Yeah.
Forex as well? Technical
Yeah.
analysis?
It's the same. It's the same. So let's say, you're trading like a break of this entire zone, right?
Hmm.
If you're trading, like, it's a very rough diagram, but
Hmm.
I mean, it's going to be the same for everything, right? Let's say you're trading a break of this zone. The zone got broken, retested using a pullback, and then it went down. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's the exact same. You can see this resistance zone, right? You can see the same that we talked about here. You can see a break of this zone was there, right?
Hmm.
You can see here there was a false breakout. So it's the exact same as our stock market in terms of technicals. How it varies, how it differs is in the fundamentals. And to understand that, trust me, you just need to read Forex Factory. Okay.
Okay.
You just need to read Forex Factory. It's a free resource. You can
Yeah.
see I'm not even logged in, and it'll give you all the info that you may possibly require.